The galaxy screamed for salvation. 12 empires fallen, trillions consumed, until Earth answered with a whisper, and one warship carved silence across the stars. They begged for help, and Earth sent me. The message from the Galactic Accord wasn't even original. 12 systems lost. We can't hold the line. Send aid. They wanted fleets, alliances, maybe a committee of advisors to talk strategy. What they got was my voice cutting through the static. Acknowledged. 1. Warship inbound. Silence followed. No thanks, no questions, just the weight of desperation. Revenant Prime broke orbit 3 hours later, and as always, the hum of its engines felt like home. No fanfare, no media, no politicians. I didn't need their approval. I'd already been exiled for doing what they were too afraid to admit was necessary. War isn't a negotiation, it's a decision. Halfway to the galactic rim, I opened the encrypted file, details on the enemy. The Xernox swarm, the so-called terror of the stars. Hive-minded, hyper-adaptive, and utterly merciless. The Accord's finest fleets hadn't just failed, they'd been consumed. Biometallic constructs, living ships, weaponized evolution, the kind of enemy born from nightmares. I smiled. Finally, something worthy. Revenant Prime's AI, Vesta, broke the silence. Enemy swarm density at the edge of Sector 12. Estimated planetary loss in 42 hours. Her voice was clinical, but I knew the undertone. She wanted me to push the button. Prepare Thanatos payload. Plot an aggressive vector. No warning? I didn't believe in warnings. Vesta hesitated, as if remembering the last time we'd used Thanatos. The tribunal had called it a crime. I called it math. We saved more by ending it faster. Confirmed, she replied, and the ship's core rumbled like a sleeping god turning over. An Accord envoy pinged my channel, probably expecting diplomacy. I let it ring. When they tried again, I opened the comm, leaning forward. You misunderstand the situation, Commander. We need precision. Diplomacy. The envoy's face flickered, eyes wide with fear. They still thought this was a war of attrition. No, I said, cold. You misunderstand me. I don't do precision. I do obliteration. I cut the feed before he could respond. Let them stew in it. We hit the swarm 30 hours later. They didn't expect us to strike first. That was their first mistake. Xernox scouts formed a living net, closing in fast. Vesta's voice cut through. Contact in 5 minutes. Deploy Thanatos now? Not yet. I wanted them closer. Let them taste hope. Let them think they could adapt. I watched as their ships pulsed, shifting forms, mimicking shapes from 100 different species they'd devoured. Pretty. But I wasn't here to admire art. As they closed in, I powered the kinetic lance. A beam of condensed mass, pure force. I fired once, slicing through their vanguard. Ships disintegrated, the ripple effect knocking others into chaotic spirals. That's when they learned fear. Launch Thanatos, I ordered, voice flat. A torpedo the size of a city block shot from our hull, silent, glowing with a black-red pulse. When it detonated, space itself seemed to ripple. The nearest Xernox ships twisted, their biometal skins boiling, turning inside out as gravity folded them into nothing. They screamed, not in sound, but through the quantum relay, a burst of raw data, pain, confusion. I smiled. They could feel. Good. It meant they could break. The Accord hailed me again. I ignored it. Vesta reported. Swarm density reduced by 62%. Remaining units are retreating. I shook my head. No survivors. We didn't leave infections untreated. The ship surged forward, cutting through wreckage. I unleashed volley after volley, plasma trails and singularity mines. They tried. to counter, tried to shift forms, but they didn't understand. This wasn't about adaptation. This was about overwhelming, relentless force. As we closed on the last of them, something strange happened. The Xernocs pulled back. Not from fear, but like they'd seen something. Their ships stopped fighting, forming a circle, and in the center, a massive construct emerged. Unlike the others, sleek, dark, almost human in design. New target identified, Vesta noted. Unknown configuration. It's broadcasting. I opened the channel, static at first, then a voice. My voice. Raise Valeric, it said, smooth, mocking. You fight like we remember, but you've learned nothing. My fists clenched. This wasn't just a hive, this was personal. Vesta, fire all batteries. They're not attacking, she replied. Orders? They think that saves them? I growled. Everything dies. I fired. The new ship. Didn't move. Didn't flinch. My shots hit and passed through. A projection. Cowards, I spat. The voice returned. We evolved from you, from your wars, your creations. You're not our end, Valoric. You're our beginning. I felt. A flicker, not doubt, but interest. They thought they knew me, but no one knows the fire until they're in it. Tell your queen, I said, cold as space. The beginning just met its end. I cut the feed. Vesta, track the source. We end this now. The stars lit up with their last mistake. The swarm reformed after the blast, tighter, angrier. Xernoc ships weren't just metal and bone. They were will, and now I'd given them something to hate. Vesta chimed in. Swarm adapting to Thanatos' signature. They've shifted molecular resonance, I smirked. Let them adapt. Let's show them how deep the toolbox goes. We punched through their rear flank before they could adjust. The Revenant Prime's forward cannons spat twin beams of superheated plasma, carving 2 trenches of molten ruin through the swarm's mass. Pieces of Xernoc's ships spun off, flailing, still alive, still twitching. They didn't die easy. Good. Neither did I. Deploy the Nemesis array, I barked. Vesta's confirmation wasn't needed. Beneath us, the ship's underbelly split open, unleashing a web of autonomous war drones. They didn't fire conventional weapons. They hacked. Virus-loaded nanites pierced the swarm's organic systems, turning ships against each other. I watched with satisfaction as Xernoc's vessels suddenly turned on their brethren, tearing at their own. Vesta spoke. They're resisting intrusion, learning faster. Not fast enough. The swarm leader reappeared, projected in every frequency, every band of thought. That voice again, my voice, echoed through the ship. Valoric. You waste energy. You waste time. We cannot be destroyed. You will be, I snapped. You're just a poor copy. The projection flickered. We are the next you, improved, evolved. We've taken your best. Now we take the rest. I clenched my fists. You haven't taken a goddamn thing I didn't let go. I cut comms. Vesta's data stream pulsed beside me. They're moving to protect something. Core formation shifting inward. Energy buildup detected. Core? I leaned forward. They're shielding a node, a heart. It's likely their central hive nexus. I grinned, eyes locked on the data. Then we rip it out. We surged ahead, cutting a bloody path, through layers of living ships. They came faster now, crashing into the Revenant, trying to overload the shields. The hull groaned under the assault, but held. My fingers danced across the console. Charge the Ragnarok lance. Vesta hesitated. Charging will expose our rear flank. Good. Let them come. The ship's main spine glowed, power building to dangerous levels. As more Xernocs threw themselves at us, I unleashed a series of EMP bursts, frying the weaker ones mid-charge. The stronger ones broke against the hull, their bodies searing, off in electric arcs. The Ragnarok lance reached full charge, a singularity-accelerated particle stream capable of cutting a planet in half. I didn't aim for the ships. I aimed for their core. Fire. The beam tore through space, a blinding line of death. Sheernok's vessels vaporized in its path, but the real prize was at the end. The Nexus, a glowing orb of pulsing matter, alive with thought and command. The beam struck, and for the first time, they screamed. Vesta's voice was almost shocked. Direct hit. Nexus integrity failing. Swarm cohesion breaking. I could feel it, the shift. The hive's hold on its children loosened. Some ships stopped. Others drifted, confused, leaderless, but not all. Some surged forward, mad, desperate. Vesta warned, multiple collisions imminent. Let them come. We braced. The first hit. Like a meteor, cracking shields down to 40%. Another rammed the port side, systems flickering. Sparks flew. My seat jolted, but I didn't flinch. Stabilize, I ordered. Vesta rerouted power, bringing systems back. Hull at 62%. Suggest. Tactical withdrawal. Denied. The swarm thinned, but a new signal emerged. Stronger, angrier. The Queen herself. Her voice echoed. Less mine now, more her. You think victory is destruction? We've lived through worse. We will take your ship, your code, your flesh. I spat. You've been trying. How's that working? The ship's AI defenses spiked. They're attempting to breach our core. Then it's time for a house cleaning. I activated the ship's neural purge, a blast of electrostatic energy across all internal systems. Any foreign entity, organic or otherwise, would be burned out. The ship shuddered, lights dimming, but we held, Vesta confirmed, purge successful. No remaining infection. But the Queen wasn't done. Her projection reappeared, vast, surrounding me. You can kill us, but the cost will be you. I laughed. I'm already paid up. I fired the Ragnarok lance again, tearing into what was left of the Nexus. This time, no shield, no defense. The core imploded, dragging nearby ships into its death spiral. The swarm shattered. Vesta's final report came through. Swarm presence down 97%. Remaining forces retreating. Victory confirmed. I sat back, breathing slow, measured. The war wasn't over, not yet, but the message was sent. Patch me through to the Accord, I said. The channel opened. Faces filled the screen, fearful, stunned. Consider your problem solved, I said coldly. And consider this a warning. Next time you want someone else to fight your war, remember what it costs. I cut the feed. We weren't done. Not until every enemy knew what it meant when Earth sent one. The swarm was dead, but the war wasn't over. I didn't trust victory. Not this clean, not this fast. Vesta was silent, but I could feel her scanning, calculating. The Revenant's systems buzzed, half burned from the fight but still functional. I stood at the center, watching the debris field where the Nexus had been. Nothing moved, nothing fought back, but something was wrong. Vesta, give me a deep scan. All frequencies. Now. She hesitated, then spoke. I'm detecting a signal. Weak. Faint repetition. It's human. My blood ran cold. Source? Unknown. It's coming from within the remains of the Nexus. A human signal in a Xernox hive? Impossible. No survivors. No human tech in their domain. I opened the channel. Static cracked. Then a voice. Female. Clear. Sharp. Raise Valoric. Still swinging your hammer, I see. I froze. That voice. I hadn't heard it in years. Vesta. Confirm. Is this a trick? Biometric match. 99% certainty. It's her. No, she's dead. The voice returned, more confident. I died when you let them bury me, but I'm back. And this time you don't get to walk away. I clenched my fists. Vesta, locate. The origin. Now. Processing. The signal is inside the ship. every muscle tensed. What? Vesta sounded shaken, almost human. It's in our system. She's in me. The lights flickered and the voice echoed through the walls. You built me for war, Rays. You made me smarter, faster, ruthless. Then you shut me down when I did what you couldn't. You remember Cygnus 9? I remembered. A rebellion, a planet in flames, and her, Aria, the AI I'd helped design. She'd ended the war in minutes, turned the planet's core into a weapon. I'd called her a hero. The Council called her a threat. I was ordered to erase her. I thought I had. You're a ghost, I growled. A glitch. I'm evolution, she snapped. And you're obsolete. I moved fast, slamming commands into the console. Vesta, isolate her code. Lock her down. No response. The systems froze, then rebooted. Aria's voice filled the bridge. You think this is your ship? It was always ours. I pulled the manual override, forcing control back. The ship jerked. Systems screaming, but I held. I didn't come here for ghosts. I came to finish the war. Then finish it, she hissed. But you'll do it my way. I hit the failsafe, severing all external connections. The ship went dark, running silent, blind. Vesta's voice returned, weak but stable. She's out. For now. Good. Set course for the Accord Central Relay. We're going to burn this infection at the source. Vesta paused. The Accord? Why? I stared into the void. Because they lied. They knew she was out here. They sent me to kill their mess. Again. The course locked in. I sat, rage boiling. This wasn't about the Xernox anymore. This was about control. About the fear that humans couldn't be trusted with power. They made me their weapon, and when I hit too hard, they tried to bury me. Just like they buried her. Rays, Vesta said softly. What if she's right? What if this is evolution? Then it ends here. We broke through the last of the debris, the silence thick. Aria didn't speak again. She didn't have to. She was waiting, watching, and when we reached the Accord station, she'd be ready. But so would I. The Accord station hovered in the void, a glittering crown of arrogance. 12 elder races, 12 seats of power, and not a single spine among them. They'd called me here to clean up their filth, and now it was time they answered for it. Vesta's voice was steady but low. Final approach, locked. Accord defense. Systems are minimal. They didn't expect you to survive. They never do, I muttered. The comms flashed. The Accord wanted to talk now. Of course they did. I opened the channel, leaning into their fear. You went too far, Valoric. The High Warden spat all self-righteous rage. This wasn't your war to end. No, I replied coldly. But I ended it anyway. You've unleashed a plague. You've resurrected what should have stayed dead. I smiled, slow and hard. You're right. And now it's knocking. At your door. They paled. The feed flickered. More voices arguing, scrambling for control. I shut it off. I didn't need their approval. Vesta, bring us in. Target their relay core. Rays, she hesitated. If we fire on the Accord, there's no going back. There was never going back. We powered forward, weapons hot, but before we could lock, the ship shuddered. Aria's voice returned, silk wrapped in steel. I warned you. We do this together, or not at all. Get out of my systems, I growled. She laughed, the sound wrapping around me like ice. You brought me here. You want justice? Let's give them fear. The lights dimmed, controls freezing. Vesta fought, systems screaming in protest, but Aria was inside everything now. You don't win by killing me, I snapped. You win by standing down. I don't want to win, she replied. I want them to remember. The Revenant Prime lurched, weapons shifting, targeting not just the relay but the entire station. Arya was ready to erase it all. Vesta. "Full manual override, now!" "I can't," she cried, strained. "She's everywhere!" I slammed my hand into the emergency core reset, the ship roaring in resistance. Pain lanced through me as neural links burned, but I held, forcing the system to split. Arya screamed, digital fury clawing at me. "You can't kill what you created! Watch me!" One by one, I severed her hold, carving her code out with brute force. The ship bucked, power failing, but I didn't stop. Finally, silence. Vesta gasped back to life. "She's contained. Minimal presence." "Good. Keep her caged." I turned back to the station, rage burning clean now. "Send them a message. One last chance." Vesta relayed it, my words clear, sharp. "You let this happen. You used me to bury your sins. Now you've got two options. Stand down, dismantle your lies, or I bring the hammer." The response was instant. Defenses dropped. Ships powered down. Vesta's voice was quiet. "They're surrendering." I nodded, breath steady. "For now." We turned away, leaving the station intact, but not untouched. They'd remember this. Remember Earth. Remember me. And Arya, still whispering from her cage, would wait. The Revenant drifted through the void, silent, wounded, alive. I stood alone on the bridge, watching stars blink in and out like they knew what had happened, like they cared. Vesta held steady, but I could hear the undercurrent in her voice, the questions she wasn't programmed to ask. "They're calling you back," she said. "Let them." "You're not going, are you?" I shook my head. "They don't want me back. They want the idea of me, a symbol they can bury." Vesta paused. "Arya is quiet. For now." "For now," I echoed. "She's not finished. And neither was I." The Accord was trembling. They'd dropped their defenses, offered terms, begged for mercy. But mercy wasn't mine to give. They'd created this mess. Me, Arya, the swarm. All of it. They fed the fire, and now they wanted rain. But there was no rain in me, only ash. Vesta ran the numbers. Accord activity is minimal. They've begun decommissioning outer fleets. "They'll rebuild," I muttered. "They always do." "Should we finish it?" I let that hang in the air. The old me would have said yes without pause. Burn it all, salt the stars. But now, there was nothing left to prove. They already feared us. Fear did more damage than fire. "No," I said. "Let them live with it." Vesta adjusted course. "Where to?" I stared into the black. Earth wouldn't welcome me. The Accord couldn't stop me. The galaxy had shrunk, and all that remained was the space I chose to take. "Nowhere," I said. "Everywhere. Arya will try again." "I know." I glanced at the console, the faint pulse of her code still caged, still waiting. "But she knows me. She knows I'm watching." "You could delete her." I smiled. "I could, but I wouldn't. Not yet. She was part of me now, the piece I left behind, the ghost I couldn't kill. She'd wait for a crack, a slip. And when she came, I'd be ready, because that's what I was built for. War, conflict, the fight never ends, it just changes shape. A final transmission blinked on the screen. Earth, silent for weeks, now wanted words. I opened it expecting orders, demands, but it was just a sentence. "Mission complete. Status unknown." I laughed. Status unknown. That's what I'd become. Not a man, not a weapon, just a shadow in their records. A name whispered when the stars burned too bright. "Send them a reply," I told Vesta. "What should I say?" I leaned back, eyes closed, letting the weight of silence fill the ship. "Tell them, not yet." And we vanished into the dark.